The use of the phrase character building for this process of inner unfoldment is not quite appropriate and may give a wrong impression to the student in two ways. Firstly, it may give him the impression that something has to be constructed like a building or a machine, while the actual process is that of releasing an inner reality which already exists in its fullness somewhere within us. The process is gradually the gradual is the process is the really gradual already exists building machine. Firstly, wrong impression to the student. Character building for this process, use of the character phrase and inner unfoldment is not quite appropriate. The process is the process of actual. First, it is the student in two ways constructed like a building or a machine, while the actual process is that of releasing an inner reality which already exists in its fullness somewhere within us. The process is really the gradual and increasing release of a life of infinite possibilities, the progressive expansion of consciousness which will ultimately embrace everything in the universe. What have to be constructed and evolved at this stage is the sages of Naimisharanya, that is just coming out from the woodwork of reality from nowhere. Somewhere within us is releasing an inner reality which is always in the process of making itself constructing through divine life, which finds expression in the function of certain healthy patterns of behavior, which the machinations of which devise all the character building for the process of the inner unfoldment, which is not quite appropriate and may give a wrong impression to the students in two ways, which are the possibilities of life and the expansion of consciousness which will ultimately embrace everything in the universe. What have to be constructed and evolved at this stage are the lower vehicles through which the divine life within us finds expression, and not the life and its expression. The second wrong impression which we might get from the phrase character building is that the character which we develop limits and restricts the freedom of life's expression. If the mind is made to function in certain healthy patterns of behavior, it no more restricts its freedom and activity than the formation of certain desirable and necessary physical habits restricts our physical life.